So at this point, we need to get to the map and we need to refill our feeder. So then from here, we can get back into our stand and we should be able to get some attraction level to get this bull to come in. If we could do that, we just pulled off an absolute freaking miracle. And we did. Oh my God, let's freaking go. We did it. Look at the size of this bull coming in. Oh, that's a giant. Oh my God. All right, in this video, I'm gonna tell you pretty much everything that you need to know about the new deer feeders and the bear baits. So starting off, the attraction level works for 300 yards away from that specific area. So basically anything that's further than that, you aren't gonna expect it to come in to the feed. So you need to be able to know the pattern of the animals and understand kind of what direction they're coming from in order to be able to cut them off with the feed, and then they kind of intercept in the middle. The next thing is you can actually use two different feeders, but they have to be at least 400 yards apart. But it doesn't mean like 400 consecutive yards. It could mean your stand could be in the middle. You could have a deer feeder 200 yards to your left and a bear bait 200 yards to your right, because that still equals 400 if you look at it from that position. But the next thing you want to know is you want to be able to make sure that you use the right feeder for the deer in a specific area. Now, there's a couple different deer feeders, and the thing is, if you use the wrong deer feeder, the bear will actually come and knock it down. And this is honestly a huge hassle. I've had it happen a couple times out on Mississippi Acres, where there's black bear out there as well. And what happens is you set up the deer feeder, this one, the box feeder, but the bear will literally destroy it. You got to go all the way out there, and then you have to repair your feeder, which costs 1,200 cash. So then you repair your feeder, everything is all good, you know, right? But then you have to put more feed in, and as soon as you change the time, that feeder is broken again for a second time. You have to again run all the way out there. You can't repair it from the map. From the map, you can technically, this is another topic that we'll talk about, but so from the map, you can actually feed it. You can actually fill your feed from the map remotely. You don't even have to be, obviously we're right next to it right now, but just to show you, we could be, you know, 100, 200, even 500 yards away from this thing, and we can still go to the map and we can fill it from right here. It doesn't really cost much extra. In fact, I don't think it costs any extra, which is a huge bonus, but it's still 500 cash, and it's definitely not free. I'll see if I have some footage of when it got destroyed by a bear. It literally happened 5 times in a row, and it got to the point where I didn't want to spend another 10 grand on a different feeder, but I kind of had to. I literally had to. I'm like, I can't keep fixing this feeder. This is ridiculous. So the feeders to use, these feeders are fine on a map like Rancho del Arroyo. In other words, Mexico. There's no bears there, so you're fine. You can use this all day long. Nothing's gonna happen to your feeder. But don't bring it on any map that has any kind of bear whatsoever, or you're gonna deeply regret it, and more so your pockets are. The one to bring is the post feeder. This post feeder is absolutely indestructible to aggressive visitors such as the bear or any large animal in that species. I was just thinking, I wonder if we could take this out to Africa and try and attract some kind of deer species, but not really. I think the kudu wouldn't exactly come into that. It would be cool if they did, but I don't think they're going to. So yeah, you want to use the post feeder. And the perfect combination of using 2 of these feeders would be 1, using the post feeder, and 2, using the bear bait barrel 200 yards apart from each other, because then you can have the ultimate combination of getting big, large predators and deer all within your proximity. So for instance, I have a bear bait barrel right over there. There's a stand right here. From this proximity, it's about 400 yards. So that means we could technically put our deer feeder, in other words, we could use this for caribou right here, and then we could potentially hunt caribou and grizzly bear at the same time. But we're gonna fill this up. I prefer to use the fortified pellet feed or the premium one. it seems to work the best. Another thing is, you don't want your tent any closer than 200 yards from your feeder, because if you do, you'll have a bunch of animals that are spawning right on top of you and they just don't come into the feed. So again, you want to be at least 250. I mean, I'd say 200 could work, but 250 is kind of a main rule that I've always had for any kind of zone while placing a tent next to it. It is a little bit difficult, but then again, it kind of depends on where the animals are coming from too. Like for instance, if the animals are feeding, let's just say this, the caribou are feeding on this island here, then we could technically have our tent, you know, within like 20 feet away from this stand, but I don't know where they're coming from. In fact, I think they're probably feeding here. So you really don't want to have your tent anywhere near that proximity. But again, around 200, 215 should be more than enough. All right, so another thing is I recommend getting the backpack, and in order to get the backpack, you have to go into store, click on backpacks. I recommend this one, the 32 Daylight extra load adventure. So for 10,000, you get an additional 6 carrying capacity, and this actually changes everything because a typical rifle is about 3, so you could carry 2 rifles in just this backpack alone. And then also you're carrying your feed, you're carrying you know, other equipment that you have. It just works out well. Actually, let's just say this, you're carrying your feed, you're also carrying your stands, so then you can carry both plus your rifles all at the same time, and you can travel smoothly to and from your destination. So in this case here, I already have a stand set up. Right now we have the stand here and there's a bait here. So we're gonna come back in the morning and, well, hopefully we get some decent caribou in this area. Now this next thing is extremely important. In fact, there's 2 different parts to this. The first part is you got to figure out what time the animals feed at. And the way to do that is you look at your map, you try and find a certain area where the caribou are and where they feed, and you can look at that and you can find out exactly when they feed. So in this case here, the caribou feed from 8 until 12. So that means anytime after 8, they should be feeding. And that's perfect because now we have a really good setup right here. The next part of this question, not question, but the next part of this, you gotta be able to check the wind in your setup. So in this case here, you can see the wind is blowing off to the right, and that means the wind is not ideal for this specific location. I didn't get a chance to check the wind yet because I honestly didn't really think about this spot that much. So in this case here, the feeder is blowing straight towards all the animals. In other words, there's our stand and there's the feeder. There's no animals here because the wind is blowing right towards it. So that basically means we got to move our, so in this case here, we could definitely put it down here and the wind would be fine. If you look at this, you always want to go to your spot and then get in the stand so you can see which way the wind's going to be blowing and decide whether or not you want to sit there or not. This is not really ideal still. It's not awful, but it's not anywhere near ideal because the wind is blowing this way and they got to come around you to get there. So that basically means we would have to have the feed over here so then we could sneak into it without spooking anything. Or better yet, just put the stand right there. Yeah, that's a lot more ideal. This tree here is perfect for a stand. Therefore, we're gonna put our stand all the way up on the top. And now the wind is gonna be blowing right back directly in our face. So then, once we get in here, we're gonna have the ultimate setup right here. So the wind is perfect, but 56 is just a little bit too far, and I honestly think we should bring it just a touch closer. All right, we'll put it there. And every single time you move your feeder, you always have to refill it because it goes to empty instantly. That's a very important feature to remember, because if you forget, you'll be going back out there to nothing. But yeah, these feeders here are ideal because they're completely indestructible from any large game animals. Mainly because this is solid steel here. They can't do anything to it. You got the crank here, which is all locked up, so they can't touch that. And they can't reach to the feed. It's way up here. So this just spreads feed out every once in a while. And the animals come in and eat it, without having to ever worry about a bear knocking it down. Because man, is that such a headache. All right, here we go. We're sneaking into our stand now, and already it looks like we got eyes on a real nice bull coming this direction here. There's a bunch of caribou. Oh, we got one right on the bait. All right, we got to get low. We are not trying to spook this thing. Now we can get into our stand and get ready. Let's see what we got going on here. Oh, that's a real nice bull coming this direction. A real nice bull. And another decent one coming in the back over there. I don't see any bears on the bait. Well, let's make sure we got the... Oh, wrong arrows. So this is a cool feature that recently just took place. And it has to do with using the quick loadout inventory screen here. So you press the up arrow and it pulls out the wheel. You can then highlight over whatever weapon you're going to be using. And in this case, we're using the bow and arrow, the recurve bow specifically. So we want to be able to take off the sights, and we also want to change out arrows. So you can see on the bottom, to switch ammo, switch sights, and close. So right now we want to hit E to switch sights, and then we want to hit Y to change out arrows. Now we have the 420 grains all set, just like that. Boom. Perfect timing. We didn't have to take our eye off the screen, and we got a nice bull right here that just came into the bait. All right, he's not exactly giving us the greatest angle. Not even close, especially considering it's 60 yards away. But we'll have to be a little more patient here. Now, we can take that far of a shot. I'm not worried about that at all. We got more coming in here. But the cool thing is just because you have a feeder in a certain area doesn't mean it only attracts 300 yards one direction. No. It attracts 300 yards in a 360-degree direction. So that means it goes 300 yards this way, 300 yards this way, and 300 yards this way. Even this way, but obviously that's way further than 300. So anything within that proximity will potentially be attracted to the bait. And that's one of the greatest things about this, is you can find a really thick woods, such as this right here. Set up the feeder here, right? And then you could go on the top of this bridge. You could then see anything that's in this area within 360 yards away, and it's going to come out to the open, which then you'll be able to see it. So that's pretty cool. I really like that feature a lot. For instance, even on Cuatro Colinas, right? There's some really thick spots that are loaded with monster wild boar, but you never seem to get them. They always jump up, they always spook, or they try and attack you. Well, now we have a way to pull them out into the open. And that's actually kind of a cool looking bull there at 60, 61. See, yeah, we had to keep our stand here because if our stand was right there, guess what? The wind would be blowing right towards them and they would all spook instantly. Now, what we might do is actually put the sight back on because I want to show you something too. So again, put the sight on, press E, and boom, we got the sight all locked and loaded. But what we want to do here is try and figure out how far this is. Okay, so that's 63 yards. All right. If we use the sight, we could zero in for a 65, and that's pretty much exactly how far this is. Watch this. See how the dot is almost lined up in sync with our main dot? That means we could pretty much just use the top of the red and we would hit perfectly. But what's good about this is now the range consistently stays on the bow. Whereas before, the minute you stopped aiming, the sight would change back to 0. And you would have to start all over again. And this is perfect because now we don't have to worry about anything. We know the sight has stayed 0 in for 62. And that's exactly where we want it. I wouldn't mind having this bull turn broadside. But we might wait a little bit longer to see if it happens. And just like that, our bull is stepping forward. All right, here we go. Here we go. Where's he gonna go? Whoa. Oh, the wind pushed that sucker wide right. Holy. I mean, we hit that thing way back in the hind quarter. Would have smoked it, but the wind started shifting and blowing off to the east. Wow. I mean, it's gonna go down. It's definitely gonna go down, but it's gonna run a ways too. All right, let's see if we can't do that again. I don't even know how the heck that happened. Okay, is he gonna follow or what's going on here? Did you see that? Did you see that? We're aiming on the left side of this caribou and we shot 2.5 feet to the right of the thing. We literally missed the whole caribou, and that makes perfect sense as to how we missed our bull. Well, missed the vitals on our bull. All right, let's see if we can't make up for that last shot. Oh, it's gonna feed there, huh? So we essentially would have to hold like here to hit the thing. My God. All right, let's try that. Oh, now the wind didn't affect it at all. And now it did. Okay. That's a bit of a rip. Not gonna lie, that's definitely a bit of a rip because it's like you couldn't even hear whether or not the wind slowed down or not. We got him down to 50%. We must have hit something. What the heck? Intestine shot. That's all I can think. Wait a second. We don't have any hunting pressure here. But that one's for sure gonna go down, and the other one should go down. Oh, another big one coming in. Oh, look at this. That is awesome. You see that? So we got a big bull coming in right now. Hopefully he keeps coming this direction. Oh, one just snuck in as well. Right here. I don't really like this setup right now. I almost feel like it'd be better if we had it right here. And the question is, would we be able to potentially move this in time to not have this bull spook? We're gonna try and pull it off. We're gonna do something super, super risky, but I believe we could pull this off. Come on, move. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Oh, no way. I can't. Oh, because I got a tripod here. I keep forgetting I had this thing. Oh, I can't believe we didn't spook it. Oh my God, this is going to be interesting if we can pull this off. This is going to be interesting. All right, now make sure we didn't spook it. All right, get back into the stand. I don't see it. Oh my God, there he is. So at this point, we need to get to the map and we need to refill our feeder. So then from here, we can get back into our stand and we should be able to get some attraction level to get this bull to come in. If we could do that, we just pulled off an absolute freaking miracle. And we did. Oh my God, let's freaking go. We did it. Look at the size of this bull coming in. Oh, that's a giant. Oh my God, this thing is huge. Look at that rack. And we did it just barely in time. Now we have our feeder set up right here. Check this out. Check this out. There's our feeder. The shot's gonna be about 25 yards away. Whew. Wow. 35. Well, technically it could be 25 depending on how close he really comes, but that's the perfect distance to have this feeder. And there's our big bull. Look at that thing. Man, that's awesome. All right. He's gonna take his time, but he's slowly working his way in. And this is kind of what I was talking about as far as the attraction level. This bull wasn't attracted until he got right over there. And by the time he got to there, he sensed it and wanted to come this direction. Well, once he wanted to come this direction, all of a sudden we decided to pull up the feeder to move it. And at that point, he lost attraction. But then we put feedback in it and he gained attraction again. And now he's coming right to us. Oh, this is cool. Of course, we happen to have a tripod just sitting there randomly, but that actually might help him funnel right to us. It really might. Like if he takes the shoreline there instead of the upper, then he should come right down here, turn, and give us a nice broadside shot. I mean, it doesn't get much cooler than that. Look at that rack coming up over the top of that brush. Oh, here we go. Here we go. He's 70 yards away and closing. 55. He's coming right to the bait. All right, there's the bait. And there is our bull. He's gonna stop at 44 yards. Whew. Well, that's a perfect spot for him to stop. And we're gonna pull back. All right, here we go. Oh my God, I think we smoked him. Yes, we did. Yes. Oh, that's a giant. What a perfect shot. Whew. So the wind is blowing back in our face, and that actually made the arrow drop more than what I was anticipating. But then again, I figured we'd catch like close to the top of the heart, and that's pretty much exactly what we did. I saw the percentage drop almost instantly, and from a shot like that, if we miss the vitals, we're not hitting anything except for front shoulder, and that's not going to take him down. Whew, that was awesome. That was awesome. All right, so he was right there. I don't see any blood from here, but it's because we're about 35 yards away. It's to be expected. Now, you never know what's going to show up after this. That was a big bull. Guaranteed gold bull. Monster rack. Alright, let's figure out where he was standing. Wow, he was out there a ways. He really was. Here's some good blood here. I don't even see the initial spot that we took the shot at. Unless he was... Yeah, no, I don't know where he was. I thought he was like right here. Oh well. We know he ran back this way. There's more blood there. Really good blood. Down to 25% health already. Still going. Alright, right about here is where we might lose blood for a second. And we'll find it again, don't worry. We're at 0% health here. And there's our bull. There is our bull. Let's take a look at him. All right. Boy, he didn't go 30 yards and piled right over. Man, that's an awesome bull. It's gonna be a 333.3 gold, and we made a 46-yard perfect lung and shoulder blade shot. Man, we absolutely smoked that thing. What a shot. And you know, the recurve bow actually did some pretty good penetration on this thing to go through the shoulder and still hit lung at that distance. From the angle that we had there, we almost made a heart shot. And I thought we were even lower than that. I thought we were like right here, to be perfectly honest. But we hit perfectly. Wow. That is an exceptional bull caribou right there. And it's actually our first one that we've taken off of a bait, which makes it even more cool. I've been trying to get this fox for so long now, and we're about to get an opportunity. I'd say we connected. Woo! Looks like he was headed out to our hog feeder here, and well, that's the last place that he's gonna remember. We weren't quite there. Oh, we were right next to it. I just couldn't see it. And here's our fox. It's gonna be a 5.95 gold, and we made a 248-yard walking double lung, liver, stomach shot. I mean, you really couldn't have hit any more vitals if you tried on that fox. Absolutely just smoked that thing. Whew. And a nice big old gray fox as well. Holy, there's a heck of a buck. I was actually trying to show you guys that this spot, here's a spot in particular that got wiped out 3 different times by a black bear. And of course now nothing's showing up, but what is showing up is a couple of huge whitetail bucks. And I'm not gonna complain about that, not even a little bit. So they're already on the bait right there. There's the big one. Wait, is there 2 big ones? There may be actually 2 big ones here. But we're gonna try and sneak into the stand here. We do happen to have a perfect wind. There's a doe there, a couple more over there. And let's see what we got. Ooh, that is a good buck. That is definitely a good buck. All right, where is our stand? Yeah, this particular location right here, I had several bear come and knock down our feeder. So, I mean, it worked out because now we got some beautiful whitetails here, right? But I'm not going to be able to show you how they do get damaged by the bear. I mean, I might be able to find some kind of video on that from somebody, but I definitely don't have any recordings of it. Well, we're in, and this is what it's going to look like. Oh my God, that's a giant. That's a 230 plus right there. He's 37 yards away. And for instance, this spot here is a prime example of how good the feeders work in a very thick wooded area. So right in the middle here is a hollow open area, but the deer are in this thicket all the way back up in here. In fact, they bed right here, here, and here. But I can never get them out of here. It seems like it takes forever and a lot of effort to get them to come out. But now that we have a feeder, they came right out, right to us. In fact, we could probably... perfect setup, perfect setup. 37 yards, he's bedded right there. A little bit of crosswind. And a lot of digitization here. What the actual heck is this? Well, we're gonna try and let one fly here. Oh my God, I think we smoked that thing. We hit him so far back, but he's down. He's down. What a shot. Talk about a heck of a Texas hard shot. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? All right, I lost sight of him. Is that him? He 100% for surely went down there. $200 plus all day. Well, we'll see if we can get a shot on him, depending on if he comes in or not. There's another 180 buck there. way out in the front. I thought maybe he'd come in, but he's not coming in. There he is. Smoked. All right. Well, let's go get him. All right, so we took the shot here. He was bedded. It was a very, very tough angle. We absolutely smoked that buck. Watched him run this way, and I never saw him get back up. I would have thought he went down like somewhere around right here. That's why he didn't get back up. And that's also why we couldn't see him, because he was laying in these lilies. Let's pick him up. It's gonna be a 233 gold. We made a Texas hard shot and smoked the center of the lung at 37 yards. What an unbelievable shot we just pulled off right there. Somehow it says we hit intestine and lung. And it looks like we basically just aimed for the top of that back hind quarter there. And that's exactly where the center of the lung is. It's interesting. When you have an angle like this, you wouldn't think to hold it on the hind quarter. You really wouldn't think that. But if you think about it from an angle perspective, and if you understand where the organs actually are, then that does make perfect sense, because from an angle from here to here, you would have to go through the vitals, and that would make you want to have more of a higher point on this side versus this side here. So that's why we held for right about here and absolutely smoked that beautiful buck. What a perfect shot, and what a heck of a buck. You know, sometimes things just work out. Like, for example, we literally came here because I was anticipating on this stand getting wrecked and knocked down 3 different times by a bear so I could show you. But then it turned out to be an epic, unbelievable turnout, and we took down a 230 plus buck as it was bedded, quartered away at 37 yards. It worked. All right, I finally got some footage of what happens to your feeder when a bear shows up. So it says one of your game feeders has been damaged and now is in need of repair. Check your map to locate it. All right, so we're gonna check the map. And then from here, we go like, I wonder which one. Oh, look at that. A red exclamation point highlights it. And it says needs repair. So if you go like this, apparently you can repair it remotely. Well, that is a benefit, I suppose, if you just want to blow away money. But at the same time, you literally have to repair it, and then you have to set it back up to put feed in it. So, not that it really matters anymore, because we just shot the giant buck. It worked out so perfectly. I mean, so perfectly. Okay, so now we can go back over here and I'll show you what I'm talking about. I didn't think this was gonna work. I mean, it happened 5 times in a row, and I just kept falling for it because I'm like, okay, there's no way a bear's gonna be able to attack it this time. And if a bear shows up, we're just gonna shoot the bear. But the bear never showed up, and the feeder ended up getting wiped out. So there was 2 negative things that kept happening there. All right, so here's what's gonna happen. Now we gotta find the feeder, and this is what it's gonna look like. It got absolutely ramsacked by a bunch of big black bear, and it's completely useless at this point. So the only thing we can do is, one, either move it. Oh, here's the thing. We can't even move it. That's another thing I forgot to tell you about. If it gets wrecked by a bear, you literally can't even just pick it up and then automatically let it repair. No, you have to repair it before you do anything. You can't pick it up. You have to repair it. And you have to hold down this repair button for 1,200 cash. See, look. And it's got to go all the way around until, boom, now it's repaired. But guess what? You're not done yet. Now, you still have an empty feeder. And if you look at the map, it says 0%. So that means you have to fill this up. Otherwise, you're not going to get anything coming into here. So like 1,200 cash wasn't enough. Now you got to pay another 500 just to fill this thing up. But I don't want to keep it here because then it's going to just keep happening. So that's why I took this off in the first place. And I mean, we already got a giant buck that was laying right there. I do definitely want to put another post feeder here in the future. But I don't think I have the tent on me right now. No. So that's for another time. All I know is this spot is an excellent spot in case you want to know where it is. It's right here on the pretty much far east end of the map by Felton. This little 3-leg circle deal here. And the center is there's really no landmark here, to be honest. The only thing I can think of is it's between these 3 dots here, and then there's like 3 dots here. So go between these 2 right in the middle, and you'll see an opening just like this. Once you get to the opening, there's a brush row that goes between this opening and that opening there. And if you look left, there's a big tree right here. That's where we have our stand. So anyways, on that note, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. It helps out the YouTube algorithm down below. And also, if you could, give it a hype. That also helps out the YouTube algorithm and helps promote this video to a lot of people that really would like to see it. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Oh, and also, for anyone that's bow hunting right now during the rut, I wish you luck, because there's definitely some big ones moving. So aim straight and shoot better.